funny. 8:30, live from the top of the tower. Vass, over to you.
Our next guest doesn't even understand doing things by halves. She performs comedy in languages she doesn't really speak and runs all the marathons everywhere. Next week, she'll be at London's Riverside studios performing Hamlet on her own. So please welcome the human Duracell bunny who is the rock steady, ever ready Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard, Hamlet.com. Let's get that right out there. Eddie Izzard, Hamlet.com. From Thursday, May 23rd to Sunday, 30th of June. It's going to be extraordinary. We know that because it's already happened, hasn't it, Eddie?
It has in New York and in Chicago. I wasn't planning Chicago, but the Chicago Shakespeare Company came down to New York and saw it and said, do you want to come up? And I thought, there's going to be a gap between New York and London. Well, let's go to Chicago. And it's the second city of theatre. So, yeah, and they loved it. And they gave even better reviews than in New York. And 4 out of 4 stars from the Chicago Tribune. You can't really fault that. So.
That's so cool, man. I mean, you're doing this extraordinary thing, in New York anyhow. And then the Chicago, the Shakespeare Massive come along and say, this is really good. Come and do it here. That's not a bad place to be, is it?
No, it's kind of beautiful, considering my background, where they say, well, you think is this a comedy version? No, this is William Shakespeare's Hamlet, completely honourable to what he did. I think if he was alive and watched it, he'd go, this is good. I should have done this version. Because there is a very long version. He came out with there's a first quarter and a second quarter. First quarter is 2 hours. Second quarter, published a year later, was 4 hours. And you think, well, what happened there? And there's lots of theories as why these are different. But my brother, who did the adaptation for Great Expectations, which was a big hit last year in New York and London, and he's done it again on Hamlet, and they are loving it. People who've seen the 4-hour version, they said, I can't work out what my older brother Mark Izzard has cut, which is beautiful because he's kept all the poetry, all the honour to all the great characters, and I'm playing men and women as a trans person, playing them with equal honour, and people are getting great reviews for that as well. So that's very pleasing to me. What
is it like as a performer to do this kind of show? What is it like during? What is it like afterwards? How does it inform you of yourself and of the words? How is it? What's the experience like?
It is very tough. Hamlet is a very depressed person, an over-analytical person. I'm very analytical. Hopefully not over-analytical. I had this theory that maybe
You're now analysing your theory.
I have this. I analysed this, and I thought maybe Shakespeare's character is Hamlet's character. Maybe Hamlet is based on Shakespeare himself. He was a kid who didn't go to university, and he was competing with all these university kids. This is back in the late 1500s, and chip on your shoulder trying to get ahead, doing that. So he had a natural thing for poetry. Comedy, not his strong suit, but poetry is great, and character study and nuance of character, he's brilliant at that. And so it's just a thing, because you're jumping from character to character, and you want to land them perfectly, and they're in different places in their arcs. It's a really tricky thing to do, and it just takes a lot of mental effort, but I'm loving doing it, and the audience are giving me great feedback.
But also, it's a representation, isn't it, in real life, of how clever we are, how clever human beings are. Our brains, our interpretation of words, and then our reproduction of not just one character, but loads of different characters. And then the ability, if you like, of the audience to watch this and to enjoy this. And how great are we?
Yes, and then to show horrible characters as well.
Yeah.
But enjoy seeing Claudius, who's the bad guy, the bad uncle in it, go through and enjoying his travel like the bad guy in a charismatic bad guy in some movie or something you're watching. Something, someone who just, you think, he has a certain amount of charisma, he has a certain amount of bombast, and I actually don't really like him, but he does revel in himself.
Is it hard?
Yeah, it is hard. It is very hard, because it's 13,500 words, which I had to learn first. And I haven't asked for a line, because when you get stuck in theatre, you say line, and your deputy stage manager will shout out the line. But I didn't want to do that. So since 3 shows before the press night, which was first press night in January, I have not asked for a line. So if I go wrong, I will just estimate. Sometimes the word just does not come, and I will estimate, because I know the rest of where that speech is going, and I will estimate the lines without saying very modern words. You can't say things like okay and alrighty and stuff that that just doesn't fit. But if you choose other words, the audience, it won't bump the audience rather than saying line and coming out of it.
You love a bit of volume. You're into volume, aren't you?
And when volume had to define more on volume,
because of all the marathons you do. So you do what other people have done, but
many.
You take, to learn a script is one thing. To learn a monologue is another. To go on tour with a stand-up show there's lots of words. It's basically a monologue. Well, no, it is a monologue. And also, comedians don't get enough credit for the fact that it's that good, because if actors do that sometimes on stage, they're lauded for it. Comedians do that all the time. That's what they do for a living. But 13,500 words is different gravy. It's like the chap who just ran Africa, 10,000 miles. It's the sort of stage equivalent of that. But your marathons, what's the most number of marathons you've run consecutively? 50 odd?
I think without a day off, it's 32. When I did it on the treadmill, actually, at the Riverside Studios where we're playing, I did 32 in 31 days. I did a double marathon the last day.
So you love volume. Volume's a thing for you, isn't it?
It's actually more the fact that, if you're a certain look, if you're a very good-looking person, male or female, the world will switch, and you're performing in something, acting, whatever it is, the world will switch onto it, and the people behind say, let's sell this person. They're going to open this film, drop this single, whatever it is. If you're the most of the rest of the world, and we developed our characters and our interest, and we have to do other things, like do many performances, or if you do many performances of Hamlet, you actually get better and better and better at it, more and more nuanced, and find things and realise, actually, we should be doing this scene like in a slightly different way. Right now, we're doing rehearsals, having already played for 3 months.
When you say we, are you talking about you?
Me and Selena Cadell, my director.
But also you and all your characters in your head.
Yes. So Selena and me are doing our work with Dee Hopkins, my movement director, and we're just adjusting certain things, and it's like icing on top of the icing to make sure that it lands absolutely perfectly on the press night on the 28th of May. But it's in a great position. And I am enjoying doing it, but we can change things. Say that actually shouldn't be there, and that should be done. We should lean more into this because this is very important at this scene. The point when Hamlet decides he's actually going to stop questioning and start getting bloody. Which is not. This is spoiler alerts here on Hamlet and stuff. He does get bloody at a certain point because it's supposed to be revenging his dad. His dad tells him bad things have happened, and your uncle, my brother, has done it. End of Act 1, but he doesn't. Nothing happens till the end of Act 5, and that is a technique. It's an unusual technique of delaying, and having the audience stay with you while because the audience is surely going, Hamlet, get on with it. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a Netflix box set all in one night, isn't it? Really?
Yes, it is.
So Eddie Izzard, Hamlet.com, to go and see Eddie doing all these 23 characters, Hamlet all the way through. A one-person show, Hamlet London's Riverside Studios, Thursday 23rd of May to Sunday the 30th of June. As we know, it already works because you've done it in New York, you've done it in Chicago. Now, in the past, you've done things in the UK and taken them to the US. You've done things in Brazil and taken them to Germany. Is there a direction of travel that works best in the development of something that you've done?
Well, your home town, city, country are your hardest critics. So it'd be good to get, especially with something like Shakespeare, get it into a very fine form, a form that you're happiest with before you bring it back to your hardest critics. So, and New York is very open-minded, and I am known in New York. I've worked, as you know, very hard to get known in America and played all 50 states. And so the audience there say, okay, Eddie Izzard, we're going to see you. We saw Great Expectations. We loved that. Oh, are you going to do another Dickens? Oh, no, you're going Shakespeare. So I've upped the ante, doubled down, and gone for this. So bring it back to London, which will be, the critics will come and they'll say what they say, and they will not be swayed by anything. They just get into their mind and say this works or this doesn't work. But it seems to work to the general public, and kids from 9 to 90 can watch, and it's accessible as well. The poetry is there. The beauty of Shakespeare. It is not a comedy, it is a drama. But
the added fascination is that you play all the characters. That is an added fascination to get people across the line, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. Some people would say I'd prefer a full cast. But the point
that has been done before, though.
Yes, that has been done before.
For 500 years.
Their imagination, the audience's imagination will work in it. It just has this great effect at the end. If people look on Twitter, X, or whatever it's called these days, you can see just the finishing bit in Chicago. I went on with my phone and filmed the audience, and they are I didn't ask them to be very upstanding, and they're just a very happy audience because you go through the mill in it, and they come with you on this journey.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare's leading you all the way.
Somebody said about AI last week. They were talking about AI, and they were talking about, and it's been around for ages. I haven't called it AI, and this, it's scary and it's not scary, depending on which side of the fence you're on and what the frame is and what the content is. And they were saying that, okay, AI could be judged by the fact that it could create a masterpiece. A painting like a Van Gogh or a Michelangelo, and you know what they said, and I love this. They said, "I don't." But if AI can one day do that, do you know what? I don't really care because it's not a human. I'm fascinated by the fact other humans, because I'm a human. Humans doing things fascinates me. I'm not that fascinated about a painting done by a robot. It's the human aspect, and I think that when people pitch up to watch you, it's a co-production between them and whoever's on stage.
Yeah, you definitely. I think that's with any audience. They come, they open-minded to say, take us on your journey, and
where are we going?
Yeah, and we will come with you if you're doing good work. If you're not doing good work, they'll close their minds and say, we are.
Ta-da!
Yeah. At half-time, I got to get home. There's a babysitter or something.
We are now no more than 1,000 yards, probably 800 yards away from the Globe Theatre, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre.
Yes.
Would you do it there? Is that going to happen?
I would love to do it there in the future. They're all programmed up the wazoo, but I was, as Shakespeare would say. I was a street performer for 4 years, as you know, and you also probably know that the Shakespearean actors in the late 1500s, before the first theatres were made, the Curtain Theatre and the Rose and the Globe, back in the late 1500s, they were travelling players. They were performing off the back of carts, and they were street performers, and that's what I was. So I'm bringing my street performer experience. They were talking to the audience, not at the audience with this fourth wall, to the audience. So when I do the soliloquies, I'm not talking. I think I must be doing it slightly differently to a trained actor because my training has been so unusual to get to this place. That's what I can bring to this. It's an unusual training, and I talk to them, and they're there right in front of me, as opposed to me dropping the wall and just not connecting with them.
Yeah, like being behind a rope, as it were.
Yeah,
it's a gallery.
It's the fourth wall thing was something we invented afterwards. It wasn't in the Globe. You go to the Globe, and they're right there.
And it's not in the round the Globe, but it's nearly in the round, and that's something else as well, isn't it? Because if you're surrounded by your audience, it's not a tennis court with a net in the middle.
Yeah.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And in Chicago, that the theatre there had a thrust stage, stage was pushed forward, and our set is unusual. Tom Piper's set is askew and unusual in its colour of bone, the colour of the skull, which Selena pushed for to have my director, and then it's like the Swan Theatre up at Stratford.
Beautiful.
So the unusual thing though is that probably Shakespeare probably had a Birmingham accent. Because he was from very near Birmingham.
Can you imagine? We often talk about on the show, if you could go back somewhere at some time, where would you go? What would you see? Who would you be with? But dinner with Shakespeare. Who was he? She? They? What did he, she, they talk like? Were they funny? Were they only pithy on the page? Was that the genius?
I think his wordplay. I think he struggles with funny. There is this line of Shakespeare funny that comedians have. It's not his strong suit, but poetry is. The poetry drips off it and drops off him, and sometimes it's effortless. When Gertrude says that Ophelia is dead, that is very beautiful and very grabbable. And this is the thing. I'm dyslexic, and when I was reading as a kid, as a lot of kids across the UK would read Shakespeare in class, and you have great difficulty with the poetry from that time, the 1600s poetry, because you're going, what exactly are they talking about? And this is not even the words that you're difficult to translate because they mean something that we don't use them anymore, fardels and bodkins, but just some of it is impenetrable and some of it is beautiful though, and trying to get through that and take out some of the pieces which don't quite work and leave the essence, the beauty of Hamlet is great.
You get on a jive sometimes in your life, and I've witnessed you doing this, and you get in a lane and you think this, and you're not there forever, but you definitely get in and you stay there for a bit. So I'm talking about things like the running, like when you started performing your stand-up in different tongue, and you did Brazil, you did Germany, you did France, of course.
Different tongues, you mean different languages?
Yeah, different languages. And
I
then
like using the old word.
And then now you see seems to have that flavour about it.
Well, It's more rather than me going from one thing to another, I'm just adding it to the lexicon, so I can go back and then because I could do être ou ne pas être, c'est là la question. Oder sein oder nicht sein, says das ist hier die Frage. I could do those speech. I could translate the whole thing into German.
But what I'm saying is, Eddie, is that the thing is, you did the Dickens one-man show.
Yep.
You're doing the Shakespeare one-man show. I can sense another one because these. Do you know what I mean by that?
I know, but it's not actually quite that. I was trying to get to here. If you think about it, there's no real place after Hamlet.
There's always somewhere else.
But Hamlet's really right up there. It is, and it's a very tricky one to land.
Is this
so the people have been saying, so what's the next one? I'm going, no, I'm going to stick to this one.
All right, okay.
And as you know, politics is also swirling in the background, so I don't know what's going on.
I know, what the heck's going on there? Jeez. I was listening to an amazing lady, can't remember her name. She's a very, very funny comedian, American comedian, and she's really successful in America now. She's got her own Netflix specials and things like that. What was her name? Mae Martin. Big, you know Mae Martin?
Yes, I do.
And she was talking about her life and about, cutting her teeth in comedy. And she just threw it in. It came from nowhere. She's talked about you being her favourite comedian of all time when she was in London. And comedy now, how long has it been? Because I was thinking, do you still have funny thoughts? Do you still write things down? Or, do you only basically bench press when you're in the gym?
No, the most comedy I do, because I did tour comedy, it is still under my fingernails. It's just,
Lovely
like when
nails, by the way.
Yes, very good nails. When you're a teenager, you had a few things that I'll be a fireman and I'm going to be an astronaut, and I'm going to, and I've just decided to push on all five,
right?
Rather than
Full
just one,
thrust.
because it took so long to start. Because I was ready to start. I dropped out of uni at 19 and I took off at 30. So and I wanted to act from the age of 7. I couldn't get roles at school, so I've decided to go wide rather than very much in this sort of arrow front of attack on one thing. I've just widened my front and I'm doing them all at once. So yes, comedy's still there, but I tend to do it in restaurants. I tend to do it when you're someone talking to someone over the counter. I will just say bonkers things.
So you still have the funny. So do funny thoughts come to you, and do you snare them as opposed to having to look for them and find them?
Yeah, I don't look for them, but I do write them. Oh, that's a good idea. I put it in my notes section.
What's the most recent thing, for example?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to go through the list of. Get out my list.
This is it. Here we go.
But when I read them back to myself,
how the sausage is made.
When I read them back to myself, they don't sound very good. Hang on. New stand-up ideas. Okay, this is, and these are not funny, but these are general. Every moment in time is the most advanced time ever. Steve, this is a scraping tool. You've never seen the like. The twig age is over. It's now the Stone Age. Wake up and smell the coffee, man. It's just the idea that when the Stone Age came, which we think is so backward, it was obviously the twig age before that, or the clay age. The clay age is now. Come on, you're gonna get stones, man. Stones. No, they're just lying about. No, look, I broke this one. It's got an edge, and I'm scraping tools, man. Go with scraping tools. No, the clay age is the thing. No, it's the Stone Age, because the Stone Age, at every point of history, we have been at the most modern. You see horses and carts, you think, what an old horse and cart. There was a point where that was the first horse and cart, and horses was very advanced. So I like that. That's great. It gives me a talking point to go off.
That sounds fully formed to me, not to you.
If we could take all the nerves out of our teeth, visiting the dentist would be fun. That was an idea.
Where would that go, for example, now in your head?
I don't know. I did that. That's actually just more practical, because they get in and they say, "Oh, we got to do this root canal work. Take out. Can't you just do all the root? Can't we be bored and just take all the roots out, please? I'm sure it'll kill the teeth too early or something. Could we just get these? Because it's going to the dentist is still hell. You remember the drill." The nightmare, the drill, when we were growing up as kids, if you're of a certain age. And then they said, we've got this water blowing thing. I remember them saying, we're going to blow the plaque off your teeth with this water. Oh, water blowing, that's fine. But they blow it such high speed that it's like a drill again. Does everything have to be like a drill in dentistry? Can there not be something where we're just going to bathe you with a bit of light and everything falls off and you're going to be fine? Can dentistry not get...
Come on, give us one more. This is gold.
The pre-Raphaelites are considered a great era of painters. But the Raphaelites are never mentioned. Yes, what are the Raphaelites? The pre-Raphaelites. Talk about pre-Raphaelites. With the Raphaelites. You Raphaelites. No, we. Oh, it went into the Raphaelites at that point, and now they're rubbish. They were. Reboot, God Making the World, sketch, Saul. was going. Oh yeah, Saul became Paul when he was a Pharisee. Then he became a Christian, and he went Saul. No, I'm Paul now. So could it have been Daul? Could it have been Gaul? Is it one letter change? Is that? I'm just going to change one letter, God. I'm with you now. I'm not against you because he was against it. Now I'm just going to change one letter. It's going to be Paul, Daul, Gaul, Fall. Can I be Fall? If I change another religion, I'll change another. Just working. It's getting into his head and seeing if you can find something. Like these. Oh yeah, old photos. Have you found? This is for anyone listening and yourself. Have you ever done this thing where you, as an individual, if you're trying to get your life together, you think, at a certain point, I'll be as good looking as I can be. I'll be as well put together as I can be. And then you look at some old photos and say, God, I look fantastic when I was younger. What? Why? Have you ever done that? Where you look at old photos yourself and go, I look really good here. Why was I bothered back then and thinking I wasn't looking in the right place? Is that just me on this one?
No, totally.
Yeah, the younger photos when you were 18 and when you were 25 and you go, I look fantastic at 25, but I don't remember thinking I looked that good.
Yeah.
It's just because time takes its toll and stuff. So it's those things I write down and then at some point, but I have found that when I turn them into shows, that quite often it comes from somewhere else. Just on the stage, I will be moving around things. Like I did the Remix tour recently, which is I was taking the best of stuff over 35 years and going into like Death Star Canteen, but I couldn't do old Death Star Canteen, which is Darth Vader visiting basically Leicester Forest.
Yeah, if you haven't heard it,
Forest East service station.
If you haven't heard it,
if you want to know what Death Star Canteen was, I can't do it here.
Come on.
No, I can't. I need money. It was basically the idea of the premise was if Darth Vader, action movies, no one ever eats food. No one ever eats food or locks cars or locks spaceships. They don't lock this. They never do that with the Millennium Falcon. They don't lock anything up and they don't eat food. And I just thought after they blew up, what's the planet they blew up in Star Wars? There's one anyway.
Death Star, no, not
that one. You've got Alderaan, and they blow it up. And after that, they say, whoa. Go on, let's go and have some food. Let's go and have a Kit Kat. Something. They would eat something. But no, and I just had the idea. He went down to the canteen, which was basically me channeling Leicester Forest East service station as I used to hitch up to Sheffield University from London. And it was Penny alla Arrabbiata and the woman behind the counter going, no, you need a train. So I don't need a train. Do you know who I am? And it was this status play that went on and on and on. But I couldn't do that same sketch because I knew where all the moves were. So I had to come up with new moves. Yeah. So the audience were going, it's not the old sketch. So I did a remix of all these classic old pieces.
Oh my gosh, it's just your brain, man.
But when you're doing Hamlet, you cannot do that. You cannot go to that place. It's the corridor of emotion that I can.
You can't even think about it because you might go.
No,
there.
But I don't need to go there because I do know I can go to my comedy at any place. But this is here to take people emotionally down this story of the drama.
All right, listen, Hamlet, London's Riverside Studios, Thursday 23rd of May to Sunday 30th of June. Tickets, eddieizardhamlet.com. Why wouldn't you want to spend the night with Eddie doing this? Yesterday we were talking about fast forwarding 10 years hence because you can sort of have an idea where you want to go. You can write a letter to your future self, but it's no more useful perhaps than shouting at the weather. Whereas if you sort of imagine you're there in 10 years time or 5 years time and look back and shout to your current self, you need to get over here, and this is how you get here. It's probably more useful. If you were to fast forward 5 or 10 years from now, where might you be shouting back at yourself from?
Do you mean physically? Like what?
Physically, psychologically, I don't know, occupationally, whatever.
I would hope.
If you had to bet.
I have to bet.
Yeah, if you had to bet where you're going to be, where would you be, and what would you be telling yourself now? Because you mentioned politics before. Yeah,
well, no, if I could be in politics and then everything, career has to go into hibernation. Like Glenda Jackson, we saw Glenda 23 years.
She is very much one of your all-time heroes, isn't she?
Yeah, well, she did an amazing thing. 2 Oscars and went in to politics.
And did genuinely give it all up.
Yeah, and she was a very good constituency MP, went up slightly into being a junior minister in transport, but then the politics didn't quite work for her, so she was a great constituency
Would you
MP.
put it all on hold for politics?
I have to. You have to if you're going in. You can't, you can't. It's like Schwarzenegger did the same thing. He stopped doing things. If you're going into politics, you've got to be absolutely serious. The constituency will not stand for it.
Yeah.
So it will be absolute, and all that energy that I have from the marathons, from all the performing, from creating ideas, examining systems, trying to come up with other ideas, and do things in a different way. I would bring that all into politics and do that. So
and there's a lot of stamina there. There's a lot of tenacity there. There's a lot of grit there. There's a lot of experience there.
Yeah, and I want people to do well. I want everyone to rise. I think, I think some people get to a place and they say, I've got to a good place, can I hold people back?
Yeah.
And there's others of us get to a place and we say, can we help bring everyone up? What can we do? Can we encourage you to rise to all the boats to
Well, it's
rise?
like a defensive football team. They park the bus because they've scored a goal or they haven't scored a goal. They just don't want anybody else to score a goal. And parking the bus, it's not very entertaining in football and it's not very inspirational in life.
No, I think if you have an esteem, people of low esteem can be dangerous in the world because they just want to bring everyone down and want to rise by doing harm or talking negative about other people. But if your esteem is good, if you can do things in life and get yourself to a place, your esteem is pretty good. And then you say, well, why don't you try this? Good, well done on doing that. Keep doing that because that's great stuff. I know it hasn't broken out for you yet, but keep working on it because I like that. And saying good things. People in the streets, I say, nice dress, like that.
Yeah,
like
always.
that. Comment on things.
Yeah, you look great. You seem really well.
Yes, make comments to people. It can just make their day. And occasionally it doesn't work. I did say it to a couple once walking along near the house. I like your dress, and they just looked at me. They were of a certain age. Maybe they were of a certain demeanor. They just
but you gave them the option.
I did. I said the dress is nice, and they just kept looking back at me like I was trying to do something. No, I'm just. Oh, forget it. Doesn't matter.
Where'd you get
So
it?
Sometimes
okay, I was going to wear mine.
Sometimes
Eddie, thanks a lot, man.
No problem.
We are out of time. It's great to see you again. It all kicks off London's Riverside Studios. Hamlet, Thursday, May 23rd. So we're looking at next week now, counting down to that. To Sunday, the 30th of June. Press night is when?
28th of May.
All right,
Tuesday.
28th. So you got 5 days of previews. Good.
Yeah.
All right, exciting stuff.
Very good.
Great to see you.
Thanks.
You're the best. Can we have a control room round of applause, please, for Eddie Izzard? A rare beast.
Yes. That's actually real people.
Yeah, real people. Thank you, Eddie.
Radio.